Remember to look at the answer choices before you start, see what's changing, see what's going to matter. Now, these are long answer choices, but the words are exactly the same. The only thing changing is that we've got some commas coming and going. So I'm going to think about, well, what do commas do? They attach extra clauses. They show breaks in the sentence. So as I'm reading the sentence, I'm going to be thinking, where do things seem to kind of come together? Is there an interruption of some kind? And let's just do this part here, because the first sentence, punctuation-wise, is not going to affect the second sentence. Powered with energy collected by solar panels during the day, the blinking LEDs keep lions away at night, thus protecting the livestock without risking harm to the endangered lions. Okay, so we got a comma here. We should always think about if there are other punctuation marks in a sentence that we're evaluating the punctuation of, what do those other punctuation marks do? This one is just adding on an entire kind of extra clause at the end, right? This thus clause is its own extra thing. So let's just get rid of it. Right? It's already kind of its own world. It doesn't affect what's happening before that. So now I'm looking for what's the main sentence. Powered with energy collected by solar panels during the day, the blinking LEDs keep lions away at night. That part there is the sentence. The blinking LEDs keep lions away at night. So the beginning part is a modifier, an intro clause that is telling us more about the blinking LEDs. So it just is a long intro clause. But I feel like it's all the same thing. It's all talking about the blinking LEDs. So I would need a comma before that, right? Just like when we have modifiers questions, we have a comma right before the blank because the modifier is leading into it. So here it's like the reverse. We're not really changing the modifier in any sort of way that affects its meaning. But we do need a comma after. So that's going to get rid of A and B, right? We need this comma to lead into the main sentence. And then, is there a reason to put a comma after energy? Powered with energy, collected by solar panels during the day. No, maybe if that was a list, right? Powered by energy, collected by solar panels during the day, and I don't know, I can't even think of a third thing. And loved by the neighborhood, blinking LEDs keep lions away at night, right? That would be it, right? If we had a list of 3 things that were kind of all just like describing the LEDs, but it's not even that, right? That's not even what it means when it says collected by panels during the day. The blinking LEDs are not collected by panels during the day. The energy that we're talking about here is collected, right? So there's no reason to break that apart. We want it to be together. In fact, if we break it apart, it makes it sound like the LEDs are the thing that are collected. So that maybe is changing the meaning slightly, but that I wouldn't really think about that at all as I'm doing it. I just hear this is one long description of the blinking LEDs. So there's no reason to break that description up into smaller parts. It's one continuous thing. Plus, generally speaking, it's not quite where the comma is, but words like by, those are prepositions. And prepositional phrases are extra clauses in English that tell us usually a little bit more about something. Location is a big part of prepositional phrases, but they do not get commas. So those little words, they're just going to kind of get added on to sentences without any interruption in most cases. So that's also kind of at play here a little bit, kind of looking at more like choice A. But yeah, this is basic comma usage, guys. We have an intro clause leading into the main sentence. We use a comma to separate those things. You need to understand that that is like the #1 comma rule.